everyone, it's Presley at ActOutGames.com here, and I recently finished Trials of Apollo, which I'm really excited about, so I'm going to do a little bit of a review. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that this is a really good book, except if you look it up, there's going to be a lot of attention going to the fact that a very beloved ship of mine and many other people's is canon. So if you look it up, you're not going to find much on the main characters. You're going to find like a lot about talking about this ship, as well as the comments will probably be pretty spoilery, as I will be discussing the book with some people that have also read it. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the book. So first of all, this is a really great book. So if you guys don't know what it's about somehow, because there's been a really big deal about it, because there's a new Percy Jackson book, but what it's about is that Apollo, the Greek god Apollo, I guess, like, they're kind of, Zeus thinks that since Octavian started, I believe it's pronounced Octavian, I'm fairly sure, Octavian started the whole, war with Gaia, which the whole, like, second series was about, and they think that since kind of Octavian did this, then it was Apollo's fault. So Apollo is getting punished by being turned into a 16-year-old mortal boy whose name is Lester Papadopoulos. I don't even know how to pronounce the last name. So they turn him into a mortal, and he's obviously very upset about this. And the whole book is him kind of dealing with being immortal, as well as, of course, it can't be a Percy Jackson book without everything going wrong. So a lot of things start going wrong. A lot of characters start disappearing from the camp, and Apollo wants to find out what's going on with the help of Meg, who is my favorite character in the book. I drew her right here. This is Meg, and she is about 12. Apollo described her as he thought that she was Artemis at first, because Artemis usually, for some reason, takes form as a 12-year-old girl. So she's about 12, and she is a dumpster child. She was kind of an alleyway street cat that lived on the street, and when Apollo came back to the mortal world, he landed in a dumpster, and then like kind of a few not gangs, but a few people found him and started beating him up, and then Meg comes in and throws a bunch of trash at them, but in a demigod way. She stands back, and then the trash comes flying onto these people, and that's kind of how he meets Meg, and they stay together for pretty much the entire book. It's really good. Meg is really awesome. She's called the trash, I call her the trash child, because she, her power, all she uses her powers for is, moving around trash and rotten peaches and throwing it at people, as well as she befriended, Carpos, I think it's pronounced, which is, a little green spirit, and everyone finds it really amazing that she could befriend one of them and it's not killing anyone, and it came from the fact that she was throwing rotten peaches at people. So she is really cool. I just wanted to talk a lot about her, because she's really awesome and my favorite character. So the whole book is really good. It kind of goes, every chapter opens with a haiku by Apollo, and about what happened in the previous chapter, about what's going to happen in the chapter, and those are really funny too, because Apollo is Apollo, and he's the god of poetry and archery and music and stuff like that. So he kind of opens every chapter with a haiku, and it's really good because it kind of balances in between all the action and adventure that's going on. There's a three-legged death race, which they kind of go through the actual labyrinth that Daedalus made. They go through the labyrinth, three-legged, and there's traps and everything. So Leo's half-brother, a child of Hephaestus, made that, which was really cool. So they kind of do that. That's part of the action, and then they just go do lots of stuff to try and find out what happened to these missing kids. And it also does a really good job of blending that in with just Apollo talking about how he doesn't like his mortal body, and how he can't even play a single string on a guitar without his fingers getting blistered and hurt. And he kind of talks about the perils of being immortal and adventure at the same time, which is really good. And the way it all blends together and the way it came out was really great. As soon as I finished it, I got kind of upset, because the whole time I was reading the other Percy Jacksons, the next book was just there, ready for me. I would only have to wait a few days to read it. Now I have to wait a year for the next book to come out, and I want the next book right now. It's so good. I want more Meg, I want more Apollo, It's just so good. There's lots of representation as well, where the ship comes true, which is representation, and then also Apollo kind of talks about, like, he's like, well, I'm kind of fine with this ship. I mean, I've had like 38 mortal girlfriends and 11 mortal boyfriends, so it's fine. And there's like a lot of representation, like he even specifically talks about when he's meeting one of the demigods, that's one of his children, that her father, yes, her other father is yes, her other father, we're gods. We can make that kind of stuff work, and it's really good for representation. Apollo is bi or pan. I don't think anything official has been released, but it's just really good. There's lots of representation, and I absolutely love the book. If you're a fan of the other Percy Jackson books, definitely check this one out. It definitely holds up to all the other books. They're all really, really great, and I really love this one. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!